Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are live. This is the Replay Sports Culture Show. We're doing our first NBA preview, and we're going to be recapturing last week NBA games, a little bit of those games of what happened or what took place on opening season. We have a lot to talk about. We do have a very, very special guest that will be joining us a little bit later in the program, former NBA player, Mr. Anthony Bonner. But I'm going to bring to the stage this evening right now. But before we do that, I would like for y'all who are still coming on to go ahead and subscribe, like, and share this particular platform. This is episode 9 of the Replay, and we call it the Sports and Culture Show because everyone deserves a do-over. So I'm your host, Jabril Rashad, and we're going to be talking about sports as well as culture this evening. So I'm going to welcome to the stage this evening one of my great friends and co-host, Mr. Daryl Alexander the Great. Good evening, my brother.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
You got it, you got it. And I got another one coming to the stage. You know, he used to hoop southpaw over at that Dallas Roosevelt by way of North Texas, Mr. Rick Robinson. Good evening, my brother. You see he up here playing with his beard and all this right now.
How you doing? How you doing? What it do?
What it do? What it do, man?
Rick,
We live.
What's happening, man?
Oh, you know what it is. We live, man. And we're gonna be talking about a lot of things this evening, man. We know we got a couple of people that still that's gonna be joining us in just a second here. But before we do that, I want to make sure that everybody is coming on. I got a couple already private chats. Y'all go ahead and send your chats out and so forth. And we're gonna make sure we if y'all got any questions or whatever the case may be, we're gonna try to get to those and answer those to the best of our ability. But we're here to have some fun this evening, as we always normally do on the Replay. And like I said, we're gonna talk about some of these games that took place on last week, opening week. You know, it's NBA season. Normally, we always kick it off with the football thing, which we're gonna get to that on the fourth segment of the show. But this evening, we thought that we'll do ourselves a service, man, by talking about this basketball. And I wouldn't want anyone else to come join on with me than my guy, Rick Robinson, who played over at Dallas Roosevelt, as well as Daryl and I. We played for Wilmer Hutchin Eagles.
Me and Rick played with the Comets, man, back in the day.
Y'all that far back with the Comets. What about the Spartans?
Rick, did you play the Spartans? His mic is off.
Was that the green team? That green team was Spartans, right?
Spartan was that like UCLA color. They had JB when JB left the Comets.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Rick was playing, but we had Charles Washington and Jeff and Barney and Pat, all them boy, Pee Wee.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. We went over to play them one time. Daryl actually was with Amo and them with Turnkey Boys Club, and we played against Pee Wee. But you weren't on that. I don't think you played that day anyway. At least I don't remember.
Right.
You know, if I remember that, I've been calling you a traitor.
I would have had to make a choice. I would have had to make a decision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm trying to bring up some of the things we want to get into this evening. And first and foremost, I'm hearing a little feedback in the background. So can you cut that down for me just a little bit? Yeah, we got former NBA player Anthony Bonner will be joining us in just a second. So give us a minute on that. But I want to talk about this NBA season that's already started. You know, we're kind of late to the dance in a way. Let me go ahead and welcome my other co-host here this evening, Mr. Tim Jackson, to the stage as well. Good evening to you, Tim.
Good evening, my brothers. Glad to see you all.
TJ.
Oh yeah, what's up?
What's up?
How you doing, man? What's going on?
Blessed, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, we live on the replay, man, this evening. As we said, we was gonna get into this. Y'all see them represent. I know them Texas Rangers, man. We're gonna probably, get them a shout out, talk about them in a minute because we're in that World Series. So we got to keep that momentum thing happening. But yeah, I want to talk about this 2023-2024 NBA season that's brand new in the making, man, and about some of the games that happened last week. One of the games I saw starting out with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. You know that the Bucks had that trade with Damian Lillard, man, and for a minute I didn't really think that that the 76ers was going to even hang. I don't know if y'all saw that game or not, but that game, man, was prolific as far as the 76ers and the young guard they got, Maxey, man, how they came out and balled against the Bucks, but the Bucks did prevail. So did any of y'all get a chance to see that game? Yeah, give me your take on that game right there, man, because this season will be real interesting with some of the trades that they've made.
Man, I mean, if you're asking me, man, I think Philly will flow a little better without Harden, to be honest, because you see how Maxey stepped up and he was like one while he was unstoppable, and that energy he's got is, it's go, it's let's go, everybody, let's go. So, and I didn't think they would come back at the end, but it was a real close game.
Real close game.
Yeah,
it was a real close game.
It was actually a coin flip.
Yeah, it certainly was, and I was really surprised that without James Harden being there. We're gonna touch on James Harden, in a few moments too. But
okay.
With him not being there, I didn't think they was gonna get the point production, they was needing in the backcourt. But the young kid Maxey, man, he took honors upon himself, man, and came out, man, and I mean, really displayed, what he's about. We know he's a talent. But like I said, by them adding that name in Ritter, man, and I didn't think it was going to be that close of a game. Rick, what you think? Rick, unmute your mic for me. I see your mic is still muted.
Yeah, I
can you hear us okay? I mean,
I can hear you. I can hear you good. The James Harden.
James Harden. He still haven't arrived thus far. We're gonna talk about that in a second. But just that game right there. It was a high-scoring game, but it was just a closer game than I thought it would be.
Yeah, Maxey, as you mentioned before, he's maturing, so he's looked like to me he's just accelerating from last year as far as on his role last year. I think he just signed that contract, finna turn 23. Young guy, straight out of high school, I believe, maybe one and done. But yeah, he's a phenom, man. He's fun to watch. He got a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, man, and he's bringing all of it to the table. So that everybody likes him.
Yeah,
and he's long term. And he's from Dallas. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And he, what you about to say, Jabril? He flows. Philadelphia flows now. To kind of go back to the point you was mentioning, they ain't got Harden that ball stop. Harden likes to play a two-man game or a one-man game. He don't like,
right.
a whole bunch of people involved. And he can pass the ball, but he passed the ball after he's made his play. Meaning that he goes in to score, and then if he doesn't make a play, then he'll pass the ball out. He got pretty good vision on doing that because he got to know where people will be. But difference is now Philadelphia's flowing, and Embiid will get the ball, and he can pass it back out. And Maxey can take the ball and drive. If he sees something, he'll pass the ball. You don't have to wait. They move a whole lot better. They game flows better as a team. So they got to make sure they if they trade hard, they're going to have to make sure they get the right player come back. There's not another person like Harden who actually is going to stop the flow of the whole team concept.
Yeah, I certainly think so as well. But looking at some of the other teams, that I think is, you're gonna try to make. We could talk about the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, but we'll stay on the Eastern Conference for a second because we talk about these other teams that may be trying to maintain at least that top spot. We're talking about the Boston Celtics. I don't know how y'all really feel about the New York Knicks or the Nets. The Knicks did have a pretty good season last year with my guy that we lost from the Dallas Mavericks at the point guard, Jalen. I forget my man last name now.
Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson.
Brunson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know how y'all really feel about who's coming out of the East, and you got Miami Heat as well. So I don't know if that's gonna be kind of like the parent or not. But I'm looking at Boston still being at the top, even though they lost one of their best perimeter defenders. They traded him away actually to try to get better. So I don't know. I kind of I'm leaning towards Boston, but Milwaukee, man. I mean, I think what they did is kind of undeniable. So
it's funny we can know about Miami. And,
I just said Miami.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I just said Miami. Yeah, I think Miami did some they made some good things and happened in their organization as well. But I still have, Boston right now, but I'm looking at Milwaukee, man. It's just a matter of time to see how everybody really gel,
I think, man, I don't know if it's me or what, but Giannis, man, he's almost like a point guard. Like he's bringing the ball up, setting up play. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I like him more doing that every now and then instead of. I mean, I noticed the first game, he was bringing it up a whole lot in times where I was thinking you should probably be down low on the wing, or if you get the ball on the fast break, push it down the middle. But for me, I think he's playing too much of a guard role, and that may affect the way he and Damian Lillard gels. But that's just my opinion on that.
Well, I'm hoping that he's doing that he's actually waiting. He's trying to save himself some banging time for towards the end of the season. That's the only thing that kind of makes some sense. I'm kind of with you on that. That actually, if he's going in and he want to control the ball, you would think Dame would be doing more of that, bring the ball up to him.
What's your take on it, Rick? I mean, you that two guard shooter, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Daryl as far as when he gets off the board, then it ain't no stopping. So anytime in transition, but him just getting it from out of bounds, walking it up, nah. But more a transition, he can be trusted with it. You know what I mean? Because he make good decisions, and he's not like a banger down low. He's more of a lob catcher. He slash. You know what I mean? But as far as posting up, give me the ball and me back him down, I don't see that much in his game. But that transition with him with the ball, that's good.
That's downhill right there.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I know we very early into the season, but if given what you've seen thus far, what you all have seen thus far in the Eastern Conference anyway, who do you like?
I have to say, man, I like Boston, but I'm thinking that Giannis and Dillard, man, is gonna come out of there. But I want to see Boston play a little bit more. That's what I want to see. That guy can stay healthy. Porzingis, if he can stay healthy.
Porzingis,
yeah. First unicorn, right?
Yeah. He can stay healthy. Then it's gonna be some sparks over there. It's gonna be some what you call it, some fireworks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're right.
So.
Right. That's a big if, Rick. If he can stay healthy, if he can stay healthy, man. We know
he had never before.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, Daryl. But listen, and I know we got football to cover later, but Porzingis is the Tyron Smith of the NBA
soon as I saw that, I thought about you. As soon as I saw it, I was out with my neck. My neck.
Oh my goodness, man! I don't even want. We gotta talk about that, man. But anyway, we'll get to that, boy. We'll get to that. But yeah, I think if that's a big if he can stay healthy, man, that is the key. Well, check this out. Go ahead.
It's real quick, man. As far as the heat goes, ain't no dude doing a photo shoot with no eyeliner and lipstick and mascara and
Dennis Rodman.
No, they ain't going nowhere. That's my opinion. He's going nowhere.
Right. Right. I was actually gonna bring that up, man, because I know I can't what how you pronounce his last name? Abadamo Bayamo. Whoever he took the picture side by side. Yeah, he took the picture side by side, man. He wanted to laugh so hard, man. He was like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What are you doing, man? But you know, it is what it is. But again, man, for those of y'all who are just joining us, man, this is the Replay Sports Culture Show. We are live this evening, episode 9. We got my man Daryl Alexander the Great, Tim Jackson, joined by my friend, good friend, former North Texas point guard, Roosevelt High School, Mr. Rick Robinson. And joining us in just a second, who will be coming to the stage that can really set the balance to this whole night, is former NBA player, one of my great friends, Mr. Anthony Barney. He'll be joining us in just a second. So we want to establish this this whole NBA season that came upon us last week. And we're going to get to the Western Conference in a second, because I know, you know, people are constantly pushing for, I guess they push for the Lakers like they push for the Cowboys. Will y'all agree? You agree or disagree? I mean, because see, Rick, I already know Rick is like, at least you got a team, Daryl, when it comes to football. I mean, we know the 49ers is your mob, but when it comes to sports, period, he keeps moving the needle on me, man. So always moving the needle on me. So I really can't say, you know, the Lakers opened up last week with a loss, of course, but they pushed the Lakers in the NBA the same way they pushed the Cowboys in the NFL, in my opinion. But I don't know, Tim, what you think about that, Tim?
Well, you know, Lakers is one of those teams. Boston kind of, you know, right with them, but Lakers is a team like Yankees, Lakers, Cowboys. All three of those are the number one team in their sport. So they are the team that people want to win. You know, at least more fans want them to win and follow more of them. But hey, Lakers got a lot of haters right now too. So because a lot of people, just as many that love them, but I guess that's the whole thing. Like Yankees have a lot of haters, and Dallas Cowboys definitely have a lot of haters. So
yeah, we certainly know that. Oh, and I can't wait till we get to the football segment, because he think I'm gonna let him off the hook. He think I'm gonna let him off the hook, but I'm not gonna let him off the hook. Mr. Daryl Alexander, I'm talking to you right there with that Little Rock Trojan basketball thing you got on. I'm talking to you. But check this out, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and segue right, because I can't wait any longer, man. No, this individual, man, that I'm gonna bring on the platform, man. I've known him, man, since well over 30 years, 35 years. This is like this is a brother to me. I mean, the first time we ever met, we just hit it off, man, and it's been like that for years now. You know, when I call on him, man, he's always there for me, and vice versa, man. And I'm gonna bring him to the stage without any further ado, man. I want y'all to welcome in former NBA player Anthony Bonner. Come on in, my brother.
Hey.
Hey,
What's up, black man? What's up, black men?
Right on.
Be in here, man. I gotta do it right, man. I gotta get a little music to it, man.
Who is that? Creed?
Man, welcome to the show, AB. Once again, man.
What's up, Jabril?
You got it, man. You got it. You know, man, if I can't reach out, man, and give my big brother a hug, man, or I should say my little big brother, at least I can bring him to the stage. And I just want to say, man, thank you for doing this for us, man, on Replay. You know, because one of the things I said to you before is that you are definitely instrumental to the work that you're doing in the community, St. Louis community, Kennesaw, Georgia, down there, and you've been a consummate. Hold on for a second. I think I got some
We got an echo.
You've been a consummate focal point, man, in the stuff that you're doing. I wouldn't have it any other way. We're doing as well as I am student athlete because you've been working with these kids, man, since your retirement. So I definitely had to bring you on to this segment as we went live for the very first time on this particular platform. So welcome again to the stage, my brother. So great to see you.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's always good to fellowship and come on. And I see you got a bunch of other brothers in here and y'all talking about basketball because it's definitely basketball season, brother.
Yeah. So I know you've been very busy, you know, working with, you know, the kids and so forth. And your son, man, who we talk about a lot. I don't know. Can y'all give some feedback a little bit? That could be
Yeah, we hear that.
I hear it.
Hold on just a second. Let me make sure. Okay, is that better?
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. So as I was saying though, we talking about nephew, man. If you guys don't know, man, his son, he told his son like six, AB?
6'7.5".
6'7.5", man. All the freshman on varsity down there, because you're in Kennesaw, Georgia still right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know you've been working with the kids a lot, man. And so, like I said, we want to touch a little bit on the I Am Student Athlete part of this segment of this show, as well as your take on the upcoming season that just got kicked off last week. I don't know if you had a chance to see any of the games or watch any of the games. What do you think so far?
Well, I mean, you know, there are a lot of teams obviously out there. We talked about health being the number one variable. Every team wants to be healthy going into the playoffs. You know, that's the number one deal, is that you need all your soldiers in order to win a championship. You need all men on deck. Secondly, the Denver Nuggets are the champions. Until somebody can dethrone them, they're the champions. They're playing great basketball. They have great pieces. They have a great system where everybody buys in. I think Boston in the East is probably going to be their biggest competitor simply because, you know, losing a championship and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 or 4 years in a row, which Boston has given them a resiliency and a persistence and a hunger to get there and finally get it all that I don't think anybody else can match. But again, the champion is the champion. You got to go take what the Joker has.
That's true. Absolutely true. And we was discussing a minute ago about Porzingis joining the New York Knicks and how is it? No, Boston Celtics. He with the Celtics now.
Correct.
I can with the Celtics, and if he can remain healthy, I kind of see the Celtics coming out of the East. But that's a big if. But right now, the acquisition of Damon Lillard, I think, can take them over the top as well. So, what do you think about that situation working out for both teams?
Well, obviously, the big fella has been injured the last couple of years, and definitely he wants to be on the court because he's a matchup problem, hands down. Porzingis is a matchup problem, and he's very skilled at his size, and he's much more mature than he has been in the past. So health will definitely be an issue. But in terms of that being a guarantee that they're going to get out of the East, no such thing, because a lot of people are sleeping on Philly. You know, I think the absence of James Harden does give Philly a little bit more continuity. I think they have something to prove. I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. You would never count them out. But again, you know, this is the NBA, my man. It's a long season. There are a lot of ups. There's a lot of downs. There's a lot of things that's going to happen in the locker room, in their families. It's just a matter of who can stay focused and not get distracted and do what needs to be done as a pro.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a chat already this early, and AB, I know you're familiar with this joker right here, man. I don't even know why he ain't even on the platform anyway, but we might need to, tie him down anyway. That's Draco, man. All the way from the Lou. All the way from the Lou. He talking about I'm a New York Knicks for life, but Boston got a storm all the way around the floor, and they have a good bench. No doubt. What you think of what Draco coming about?
Oh, agreed. For him to have gone to Arkansas Pine Bluff, he knew a little bit about basketball because that ain't a basketball school down there. So I agree with him. You know what he's talking about.
I'm telling you, yeah, get him, man. Get him. Yeah, get him. Shots
you know
fired,
what he's
man.
talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. He come down. Well, AB, I got a few of my cats, man. Old Rick Robinson up there, man. He played over in Dallas Roosevelt, went to North Texas, man. They got their head brought to them back in the 80s, man, with George Lynch and North Carolina Tar Heels. And my man Daryl in the middle right there. That Wilma Hutchins, the same school that produced your former teammate Spud Webb and myself. Then I got my man Jackson, man, played at free safety for Nebraska, the Dallas Cowboys, and well known as the Washington Redskins back then. So we all on here, man, just talking about sports, having a good time and fellowshipping, man, and just trying to see if we can make a difference, man, within our own community as we continue to work with these young people.
Yeah. Well, that's powerful, man. It's a pleasure. I'm familiar with Tim because I'm a Cowboys fan, man, all the way back to the 70s. And I don't apologize for that. I'm a ride with them to the end, even though they make your heart hurt, they make your head hurt, they disappoint you. You got to represent the star, ain't that right, brother?
Oh, you definitely right about that. You're not kidding about the pain and anguish that you can go through sometimes, especially at the end of the season. Woo, at December, boy. It's like right when the holidays come and you trying to put down that turkey and the black eyed peas for the New Year's, and all of a sudden you get all this heartache.
That's fact. That's fact.
Well,
all the time that we fans instead of we fans, we watching, we ain't playing. I have to always remind myself, I ain't playing no more. I'm just watching. Okay?
Well, absolutely, Daryl, you want to chime in on this? I see you. We ain't got over to football just yet. He got the blues right now, but I'm waiting to dive into him.
Well, we already know that how that Cowboys trip turns out. As long as you got Dak in a crucial moment, he'll be Dak, and the Cowboys will be exiting stage left. As long as you got Dak, you'll exit stage left in a most opportune time and moment. It's gonna hurt your heart one more time. That's just what he does.
I hear you.
That's sad, my brother, but it seems to be true.
Well, definitely is. But I tell you what, like I said, I want to talk about something. James Harden. And I don't know how you really feel about James Harden and his absence, if he's trying to force a trade or just really what's going on. But to be voted, one of the top players on the 75th anniversary team, and I don't know, you went from Houston, forced your way out of there to get to the Nets, and then you forced your way out of the Nets to get to the 76ers. These new athletes of today, when you compare them to your era, when back in the 80s and the 90s and so forth, we know that there's a different kind of a different mindset. A lot of ways. They make a whole bunch of money. I mean, way more. But somebody had to pave the way. But when you look at some of the current athletes today, what is your true feelings about being a professional in today's sports world when it comes to the NBA?
Well, I think the NBA are now dealing with many of the allowances and the situations they've created with the modern day player. They gave a lot on the current collective bargaining agreements. You look at guys like James Harden and other players who forced their way out of situations that they're uncomfortable with. And you can disagree with it all you want, but the tables have turned where now players have been empowered and they have an opportunity to really make decisions that are more beneficial for them individually than for the team. But I will tell you with James Harden, I only see one win-win for him right now. It's for him to go to a situation where there's a culture already established that he's going to have to buy into, and he won't have control. And there's only 2 such situations, and I don't think either one of those situations are really actively seeking him. One would be Miami, where you have Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, who have a machine already in place where you have to go in and buy in, or you just don't come in at all. The other would be San Antonio, and I don't think Popovich wants to deal with him because he has a team full of young guys who are going to be great at some point here in the next 3 to 5 years. They're talking about the Clippers. I think Tyronn Lue has been around long enough with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and some of the guys he have on that team that he could possibly get him to buy in because the Clippers are hungry. But I don't think anybody else in the NBA will really touch him because he's a cancer to your locker room.
Right.
Yeah, I want to wait on this guy who AB. I want to take you back a little bit. I want to know from you. This was they try to get this right, or was it an extra clock? That's so damn one. Ball ain't gonna lie, is AB.
No,
I think it's a clean block.
Anthony Bonner times this beautifully, and you can tell by Marley's reaction, he knew he was had as Bonner met him up at the summit there, and apparently got all ball. But look at Anthony Mason.
look at my man Mason.
Yeah,
I think Anthony Mason said it all, bro. God rest his soul. Anthony Mason said it all.
Absolutely, rest in peace. I had to put that. I got a couple of them I got to show you, but I had to put that one up there because I said I thought it was a clean block. And as in the words of Rasheed Wallace, he said, "Ball ain't gonna lie. Ball didn't lie." So I said I got to put that one up there and get his take on it because it seemed like he was pretty angry about that.
Yeah. Well, you know, man, basketball back then, I think it was played. It was obviously we all play professional sports because we love it, but we definitely want to be properly compensated for it. But the compensation is never the motivation to play.
Right.
I think at some point when you're in a contract year, that can come into play. But for the most part, when you're on a great team and a great organization, you have an opportunity to accomplish something special, like win a championship, and you have great guys in your locker room and you're a part of a great brotherhood. That's something that can never be traded because I'm sure my brother Tim can tell you, I played 16 years, and out of those 16 years, the 2 years I was in New York were never repeated any place else I ever played. So it's just hard to have great chemistry where everybody buys in, and the only goal is to win a championship, and you're taking all the right steps to get that done.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that era right there to me was like a golden era because you really had to earn your keeps. You know, I think nothing was given. You know, nothing was
Yeah, but
given.
you're talking about an era when guys were more mature. I mean, if you go down the roster of most teams in the 90s, most guys were 4-year graduates at college institutions. You know, you didn't have many people who were one and done. People went to school. So when you went into a locker room, you had vets. You know, my vets in Sacramento, I had Wayman Tisdale. I had Ralph Sampson, Bill Winnington. These guys had been in the NBA 6 or 7 years before I got there. So there was a standard you had to buy into, and there was a code of conduct that was strictly enforced. So you learned what it meant to be a professional, even though you were a highly touted rookie and there were great expectations placed upon you. You still had to follow the leaders. Right. I don't think it's that way today.
Right. Well, let me show you this one right. This one right here. I got a chuckle out of because to me, this is the way it was done, man. This is the era that I grew up under. That's why I still
3-point guys, but then allowing them to beat you off the dribble to the basket. Bonner rejected by Shaquille O'Neal. Play starts. He felt O'Neal coming. Shaq beat Patrick Ewing down, goes hard and gets the foul, and he gets up and gives Bonner a look. Well, he's giving and Bonner's giving him some stuff right back. Now, I'll tell you something, Bonner, pretty tough young man. But more important, Shaquille O'Neal in this situation thought that he was undercut. But we're going to show it to you right now. You be the judge. It was down on the opposite side from us, so it's hard to see. Now, you're going to see. He tries to split the guys and go right in there, okay? And that he did. Now, you can see the arms are up in the air. He did not move in underneath him to try to injure him. He's going right here for the block. He thinks he has a chance to block the shot.
He never moved his feet. Bonner just basically stood there. But Shaq.
I think that was a very savvy move. Savvy move.
I didn't see an undercut. I didn't see an undercut.
No. But see, back then it's like everything was almost like premeditated. So that was the mindset with a lot of guys,
especially the Knicks.
Yeah.
But
but I tell you, the great thing about it is I love his lack of reaction, because he knew one thing: if he had come any closer, I had about 8 goons with me.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah, I had 8 goons with me who was ready to ride, because one of our creeds was, if one man goes into it, everybody got to go, or everybody got fined. That was the rule.
Yeah.
Especially that New York Knicks team, that team, because you had the Charles Oakley, Mason, Starks, man. So, and Pat Ewing them. So, it definitely, that mob. The way basketball was just played back then, I miss it, man. I really truly miss that era, man. Like I say, that was the golden era, for me. But Rick, I think you had something you want to chime in on, Rick.
On which piece? With Harden or with where they played back in the day?
We just saw some of the clips talking about the 90s.
Oh yeah, because definitely back then they were, you could touch and bump, and it was more, the middle was kind of like forbidden a little bit. You know what I mean? So everybody was forced out, and now it's like, and I think that we actually probably were hand checking back then as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the forearms as well. So now it's more of a kind of like a token defense.
There's a lot of finesse in the game. In other words,
there you go. A lot of finesse. It's no real banging, man. There's no real banging. Yeah, it's no real banging.
Yeah.
Hey, the same thing going on in the NFL as well too. The receivers get afraid to go over the middle. They can now go over just like the center of basketball. So everything's been a little finesse to it. So you didn't come to the middle when I was playing. You didn't want to come across there.
Now, Tim, you're right, because when I was up at we went to my former high school, and we were sharing with the young kids, man, on varsity about how the game was played, how physical the game was played back then. I grew up watching people like Jack Tatum, and Jack Tatum and George Atkinson and them boys, and Neil Blunt and them boys. And I was telling one of the young guys that we would take the shin guards that you play with, in soccer, and we would put them on our forearm and wrap them up in tape. They thought they was probably some hard wristbands or something, but I don't know. We literally use our forearm. So the NFL was modeled back then, and I think the same way when the Bad Boy Pistons came in, and it was, even though I don't think that they definitely wasn't the genesis of where it all began with tough basketball, but they kind of glamorized it, if you will. But basketball was always, man, was hard fouls. I remember when Steve Mix way back in the day, we played for the 76ers, man, get into it with one of the Boston Celtics players, man, he going toe to toe, So those are the eras, man, that these young people, when I listen to a guy, and I don't know if you're listening to Gilbert Arenas a lot, but man, he just tries to listen to the time, because I'm saying he just think that this is a scoring league, which it is. They made it more offensive friendly, but if you think that guards like Isaiah Thomas and Bruce Bourne and all these guys, man, or Sidney Moncrief, if you think they was going to get up underneath you and close you out, you kidding yourself. But he goes on and on as if like guys today would have averaged like 40 back then. You know, so what's your feeling about that?
Well, I think the style of basketball was definitely different, as we all know. But I'm not one of those guys who hate on the fact that the game has changed. I think each generation carves out its own identity. And this particular generation, you know, though they're not as physical, they are way more skilled. There's no doubt about that. Times 100. Times 100.
It is.
A lot of the things these boys can do right now, my man, will blow all our ACLs out and make us break both our ankles. And that's just real talk. And I think a lot of these guys are bitter and they don't let it go, knowing that, you know, after that brawl in the Palace, in Auburn Palace, when Ron Artest them got into it with the Pistons and all that, I think the commissioners then wanted to clean the game up some. They had to, because it was leaning toward being way more violent, because a lot of the guys were immature and they didn't have a lot of control. So it is more of a scoring game right now. It's played a lot more looser, where they call a lot more fouls. It's very entertaining. Could a guy like Steph Curry have played back then? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He wouldn't have the success he has right now. But I will tell you what, it's beautiful to watch that boy pass that ball, run off 3 or 4 more screens, catch it, pump fake somebody, and then shoot that shot. Reggie Miller couldn't play like that.
Right.
No way.
Well, let me ask.
No way.
Well, let me ask this, because you say that this era right now is a little more skilled than the previous era.
Way more.
But what do you say? But what do you say to skill versus athletic? And I got my reason. I'll let you go ahead and talk about that. But I have my reason. Because this question came up recently.
No, they're totally different. It's totally different. I mean, you take a guy like Drexler. Clyde Drexler was very athletic during his time in the NBA. I mean, probably only second to Michael Jordan at the 2 guard. But I don't think he was very skilled when you talk about executing a lot of the skills that Michael Jordan had. I think he played off raw talent like a lot of us did. You know, the NBA back then, it was like an assembly line. You got guys who could rebound, guys who could score, guys who could play defense, and you kind of plug them in, and you put a system in place that gave you the best opportunity to win a championship, like the bad boy Pistons. But today, you look at guys, everybody has to be able to do everything. You guys are talking about Giannis. Well, it's a catch-22. I want the ball in Giannis' hands, because when Giannis has the ball, regardless of where he is, walking it up on the block, on the fast break, all eyes are on Giannis. All eyes are on Giannis at all times. And because he's so skilled, he's going to make plays. So, it's just a different generation. The game continues to evolve. The more the game evolves, the more global it becomes. And the more global it becomes, the bigger the paychecks for the players involved and for the retired players. Because every time they get paid, we get paid.
Really? Right. I didn't know that.
What you say, DA?
Yeah, like that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
In other words, they good for business.
Man, grow the game, man. Grow it. Blow it up.
Yep.
Right.
I got a thought on the skill level. One thing that's a little different, and there's 2 things. One is that the skilled players are now allowed to, big men are allowed to do some things. There were some guys that could dribble the ball, but they weren't allowed to back then as well, too. That's another thing. Second, it's the way they can handle the ball. They carry the ball all the time. They're able to walk a little bit longer, too. So now the creativity can be even more because of how you can handle the ball. This guy's a cupping the ball. If you guys think about it, if you guys was able to cup the ball, how many different things, creative ways you could have maneuvered that ball in your hand if you was able to cup it and do what the thing you kind of can do now? Take that ball like this, you have to always have your hand on top of the ball on the most part, a little bit to the side, a little bit like this, but not like this. That's totally different.
Yeah. No, I agree, Brother Kim, but again, it's a generational thing. There were 6'10" guys who handled the ball. I mean, Charles Smith played with us. Charles Smith was a 6'10" forward before his time, even when he was with the Clippers. You had Derek McKee, who was with Seattle, and then he was with Indiana. He was a 6'10" forward. They played point forward. Scottie Pippen was a 6'8". Did that, but again, the game was so different because you had John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas. Those guys didn't really play off the ball a lot. They were the head of the snakes. They engineered the offense. So it was just a different time, different game.
True, definitely true about that. So that definitely influenced it without a doubt. So I definitely agree with you on that part. The changes, it is a generational thing. Yeah, definitely.
Well, Rick,
Yeah, they know that. Did you guys see that one play they showed on ESPN all the time? It was one game, I guess they were in LA, where LeBron picked that ball up, took about 4 steps, and then dribbled it again.
5.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
He's done it more than once. He's done it more than once, actually.
Right. AB, I was talking about the because this question came up just recently. I was on social media chat and they were talking about the guys and the skills and this. Well, actually, the guy said the guys are way more athletic than the guys back then. I said that's not true. I said what you have is guys today, they may be a little bit more imaginative because the rim is the same rim, which is 10 feet. It's the same rim. So what guy do you have? Let's break it all the way down. Bo Jackson played in the NFL as well as in the in Major League Baseball, as we know, as well as Deion Sanders. Deion played in a game the same day. Then you got a little guy by the name of Spud Webb, your former teammate, and one of our partners we grew up with, slamming and dunking in high school at 5'3". So I was telling the guy, I said, no, what you see today, I think guys are a lot more imaginative because it's about your imagination. So you get a little bit more creative. That's why, like when Dr. J first jumped from the free throw line, that hadn't been done before. So for that time and that era back then, it seemed like that would never be duplicated. But guess what? Along come Michael Jordan, right? Then you see the Vince Carters and you see I forget when he sat down in the dunk contest, he was with Orlando at the time. So you see these guys coming up with, I think it's more creativity, not necessarily athleticism, but more creativity. Skill-wise, I'm glad you said that skill versus athleticism is something totally different when we're talking about that. And I think that's so true because when you look at the Steph Currys of the world, the fundamentals, the ball. Isaiah Thomas come to mind, of course.
Pistol Pete, Bob Cousy, where he can handle the ball. That was
yeah. Jason Williams, White Chocolate. I mean, White Chocolate was very creative with the ball.
Correct.
You know, and they showed the other guy. They were comparing White Chocolate to Nick Van Exel, who played with the Lakers out of the University of Cincinnati. He was very creative with the ball.
And Rod Strickland. Woo.
Rod Strickland. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, Jabril, you know, when you talk about athleticism versus skill, and I'm sure all these gentlemen who played various sports, you know, basketball was not my primary sport. My primary sport was boxing and football. I got to high school and had a growth spurt, and I became 6'6", 6'7". I had to switch because my coach demanded it. But I think today, knowing like my son is only 14, but my son trains all year round, and he does specific training to increase his vertical, his quickness, injury prevention. You know, they have access to some things that we didn't have access to that allowed them to excel and play at a level that we couldn't play at. We got it naturally over time, but theirs is kind of accelerated because it's nurture in this kind of process. It's just different, my man, the techniques that they have and the things that they're doing. And some of the stuff you see, I mean, my son is 14 years old, my man, and he already doing stuff that I probably wasn't doing until I was 21.
Wow.
That's the blessing of paying it forward. But go ahead.
Yeah, but exactly. But, you know, when you look at it, you see it. And again, it's just called progress, my man. And for Charles Barkley and Gilbert Arenas and some of these guys that get on their platforms and be bitter and stuff celebrating progress, man. And, you know, what's going on is ridiculous. I see it on the NFL shows. It's like I got to watch these shows, man, and turn the volume down until the games start. because, you know, our job as brothers who've been blessed to go before a lot of these guys, man, is to encourage, empower, and equip. Now, that doesn't mean we don't critique, you know, when we see something going on, but for the most part, I'm not going to use my platform to get on a horn and just tear people down, because that's not really constructive. We talk to Smith all the time, man. That dude right there is a clown, and he get paid to clown.
Yes, I would. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Well, Tim, when you mentioned about
go ahead, Jabril.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You had go ahead. Go ahead. I know.
No. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Are you making a statement?
No. Go ahead. You good?
Is everybody okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. No, I'll just talk.
You there, Jabril?
My man froze.
Yeah, I think he didn't froze. So, let's get the West real quick. Went off the West real quick. Because we didn't get to the NBA West. So let's go to the NBA West. Who we think gonna come out the NBA West? So, what you guys thought on that? Jabril, I just transitioned.
You know what, man? I'm gonna ride with Denver.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ride with Denver. I mean, I really don't see any. When you look at, excuse me.
I said, you picked him for the repeat.
Well, I'm gonna put it this way, man. I mean, you play. You know, the heart of a champion is something that's developed, and when you have it and you're defending something like that, you know, you got to come take it. And the fact that they have the best player in the game, he's the most athletic, but overall he affects the game in a way that nobody else does, man. And they play in a home arena where you and I know that the altitude affects, you know, your ability to breathe and play at a high level. So if they get home court advantage again and you playing in the Mile High, it's going to be a tall task to come knock them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're right about him being so neat, because there's no other NBA player like him right now. So with his size and his skill level, and actually the way he moves, you know, him and Luka both move at a different pace, and actually
ain't that crazy, man?
Ain't that crazy?
We gonna be the dark horse, man. I'm just saying. We gonna be the dark horse. The Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah,
Man.
well, I mean, we can never. If Anthony Davis could really put together a real run, man, I mean, he's a matchup problem. And anytime you have LeBron, you can't count him out, because I don't care if the Lakers get in as an 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to see them in a playoff series. You don't. I think anything can happen in a playoff series, and there's certain teams you want to avoid. And a LeBron James-led team is one you want to avoid.
I just don't know about their consistency for a long run. You know, with AD getting injured, and you know LeBron at his last stage being consistently rising above where they need to go, and also because of how LeBron needs the ball. Kind of control the whole everything that's going on, which kind of takes away from somebody like D'Angelo Russell. Russell can't be his.
We want to take away from him.
Yeah, but you need to not have him on your team then, right? So if you're gonna take away from him,
I agree.
Another team.
I agree, but I mean, LeBron has played that way his whole career, and late in the games, you want the ball in his hand simply because no one more experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one more determined. It's a catch-22. You can give it to D'Angelo Russell, but then you got to live with the result of that when it don't turn out right. At least you're justified when LeBron blow it. He's LeBron.
I would agree with you on that part, definitely. So you definitely towards the end of the game, of course, because LeBron's gonna make the right play. He may not even shoot it himself. He's gonna make the right play. D'Angelo Russell, his problem is that he don't hit the open three well enough by himself.
No, you're right. You're right, bro.
It looked like Rick want to say something because
I'm with him. It's more like Russell is more. He don't hit the deep three late. You know, he don't hit the deep three late. So he hit the three all during the game. But it's late when it's late, then it just. I noticed that he's on the bench toward the end of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
And
he's a defensive liability, brother Rick. He's a defensive liability for sure.
Yeah, that's another problem.
I don't think they have the pieces to come out of the West, man. I'm gonna ride with. It's hard. I ain't gonna never separate with my Mavericks, but if I had to put the West team up there right now, man, I think Golden State. Once Draymond Green get back, Sacramento Kings is a threat. I think the Kings, man, they definitely got a new, because that's your old, the team that drafted you where we first met. Yeah, so I think they got young players, man. So you got some horses in the West, man, that can definitely come out. It's all about, them gelling and being on the same page and paying close attention to details night in and night out.
Yeah. Well, they playing tonight. They're playing right now against the Pelicans, and Klay Thompson is sitting out, but Steph Curry is still playing. Their problem is going to be how much rest can they give him? Because we know they can't win without Steph.
Right.
Can't wear him out. You know what I mean? How much rest can you really give him and still play at a high level? Because now Jordan Poole is gone. Dominguez is going to step up. Moody will step up. Draymond going to be Draymond. But, Steph Curry is that X factor, man.
Well, AB, before I turn the table here, I want to show one more video. I think this clip, well, actually two more. But we're going to segue to something else, some of the great work that you'll continue to do. But I want to see this one right here. Let me see.
Mason is there.
Yeah, that seemed like many moons ago.
Exciting plays always are on the Knicks. On a flying court after Mason led him and a reverse slam.
I shared this with you before, but I hadn't told the platform this. I shared this with AB once before. When Spud, youngest brother, Reginald Webb, and I was watching TV one day, watching Spud when he was Sacramento, and all of a sudden we see this guy get the ball, not knowing who he was, where he, the college he had. He played at St. Louis, the Pelicans, still one of the all-time leading scorers and assists and rebounds, and I think still may hold a single record for scoring. He had 45 against Loyola, Marymount. But I saw him on the fast break, and the only one I could compare it to was like Jordan, because he had that 6'6" range, 6'8". But AB, you 6'8", but he took off from the base. And me and Reg looked at each other like, man, who is this dude, man? Lo and behold, I get a chance to go up there to Sacramento and get a chance to meet him, man. Like I say, man, we've been like brothers ever since, man. Good dude. I know his family, man. It was nothing for me to come to St. Louis at least once or twice throughout the year, whether he was there or he wasn't there. Mom will always open the door to me, man. Just good people, down home Southern people, and we've had some great times, great laughs, and man, we get through some stories that we choose to just jettison overboard as we move forward in life. But one of the things that I want to share with this particular platform this season and the fellas, man, is the work that you're doing, man, the ministry work that you've done and continue to do, not just domesticated, but actually globally. And I want to share this particular video because every time I see this video, let me bring this up right quick. Every time I see this video, man, it just does something to my soul. For you working with the young people. This right here, I think you was over in Liberia, probably.
Very, very important. Very productive, and you're following a passion that's in your heart. If you're out here playing basketball and you're playing it for the purest of reasons and intentions, that's a great start and a great foundation. God planted that in your heart. All I can encourage you to do is continue to follow that passion, continue to do it for the right reason, and God will lead you in the on the right path. In the United States, we have a lot of young men throughout the world who all want to be professional basketball players. But guess what? There's only 300 jobs. There's only 29 teams. Everybody can't play basketball. If you do it for the right reasons and you have a relationship with God, He will lead you and show you, keep you close to the game. Maybe you can be an agent. Maybe you can own a basketball team. Maybe you can be a coach. Maybe you can be a manager. Everybody's not going to be a professional basketball player, okay? But all of you have a gift. Everybody has a gift. I just encourage you to keep going. Keep studying. Education is the way out, okay? You got to be educated, everybody. Education will help change your life, all right? If you twist your ankle, you break your leg or something, then what do you do? You got to have something else to do. So you got to be educated. You got to have a relationship with Jesus Christ. You got to work hard. Never let what you see today change what you think can happen tomorrow. Your current circumstances is not the conclusion of your life. All right? This is just one day out of many more days to come. Okay? You keep believing in God that it can change. Keep believing in yourself. And keep loving each other, okay? Because you have a beautiful country. All right?
Man, I tell you, great conversation with the young people, man. Not just, as I said, I like to understand, not locally but globally. But talk a little bit about that, AP, the work that you've done since your retirement, and how God will use you in ministry to go around, not just only in the United States but also in other countries. But again, I think it's in Liberia. You can explain that a little bit more. I think it's in Liberia on that one.
Yeah.
Speaking to you.
Yeah, we were. Well, for the last 14 years, I've been blessed to be in international ministry and travel the world. Tim knows, in America, we've been given a great platform. And we know to whom much is given, much is required. We can really influence people in a major, major way only because God has given us a gift to play sports or sing or act or whatever. People in our country and people around the world foolishly and ignorantly and unknowingly worship athletes. So with that, God has given me a great, great privilege to travel the world, from Africa to Russia to India to China, all kind of places, man, and open doors just to go share a message of restoration, reconciliation, and redemption through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, not going to a church, not a religion, not following a pastor, but really having a personal relationship to understand why God loves you and why He sent His Son Jesus to die for you and why you're here on earth, because you have a purpose here. And I think the greatest part for me has been going into medium and maximum security prisons, talking to brothers who look like you and I, who are one day going to get out, and some who are never going to get out. And further prepare them that when they get back out, that there's still purpose for their lives. To further prepare them that, yeah, the system is against you. People are not going to want you to win because they make money when you make another mistake. That's why the recidivism rate is so high, is that you just have to really be tuned in to your relationship with God. And it's different for everybody. For every man, it's different. For me, it was more about knowing that I didn't think I was good enough to play professional basketball, but God allowed me to do it. And He chose me over a lot of other gentlemen who were way better than I was. And that never really left me. The whole time I was playing professional sports, I was like, why me? And I think later on in my career, God told me why me. He said, because I know I'm going to call you later and you're going to say yes. We have a lot of things we can do when we finish playing basketball. Most ought to, take care of your money, open up a business, get a nonprofit, just kind of do the normal thing. But we're not living in a normal world. Our people are perishing at a rate that is 3 times, 5 times the amount of other races of people. And we need more men who are coming back with a message that's greater than just work hard and get an education. Because you and I both know, we know a lot of brothers who are educated and worked hard, and they ain't doing so well right now today. They're not good husbands. They're not good fathers. They're not good friends. They're not good mentors because they're about themselves. So I just thank God for the opportunity, first and foremost, to have my own personal relationship with him. Secondly, to have grown and understand that basketball is just a sport. It was a gift. And thirdly, to really have a heart for people, man. You know, just have a heart for people. So I thank God for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, I know it firsthand. I've watched you, like I say, man, grow from a young man to, I won't say an elderly old man. I won't say that because you always kind of been beyond your years. But to see your overall process and maturation to where you are today, and how you really, man, work with these kids. I mean, it's just a phenomenal job that you're doing, and we need more and more people such as yourself and athletes. You know, we do what we can here, even in the city of Dallas. You know, my guy Gerald right there, man, he coaches kids and works with kids on a daily. Tim and I have paid our contribution, man, to some of the young youth in youth sports going around. And I love hearing you say to those in that if you don't play basketball, you have to be an agent. Because I got another friend of mine who has Sports Business Institute, where we try to let the young people know that you can actually be a professional without having actually to pick up a basketball or a football or whatever, still be a professional in life and learn the game or the business behind the sports. Because there's a lot of opportunities that unfortunately a lot of our young people in the urban areas don't get a chance to apply for those positions, whether or not if it's some fault of our own or just not having that information or whatever. But it's platforms like this, platforms like what you do with the children and our youth, that we have to be able to put that information out there and project that information out there so that they can get that information and embrace it. Because again, we know only so many are going to be able to play, whether it's NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball or what have you. But how not, why not? And I heard a guy say it like this, talking about slavery one time. He said it would have been interesting, it would have been real great after the Emancipation Proclamation, if the slaves would have migrated, they just would have just bought the land. And so that's ownership, that we've always been trying to fight for. So I think that still reigns true today, man. That I always say, the scripture says it best, that it takes a village to raise a child, and that narrative still reigns true, even more so today, more than any time that I can even imagine. I mean, I know we had tough growing up, but what we had was an abundance of love, man, and admiration, and we just went in. I try to tell my great nephew, man, he complained about the difference between where my mom lives, where we grew up in Highland Hills at the local recreation, man. We would walk there, and we had fun doing it. Girl and I, he'll tell you, growing up, man, I would come to his house because he stayed right up the corner, very corner house on the same street. And either I come get him or he'll come get me, and we'll just take off and walk, man. And we had some of the best of times in doing that. And it's very unfortunate that today, I just see, if that male is not in the house, that father or some type of mentor is not there, man, that's a lot of looseness, a lot of laziness, if you will. Sometimes no fault of the child, but nevertheless, it's still present. And we need more guys, man, more men of substance, not just any that do it, but men of substance to go back into the communities, man, become that father figure again. And that's what I'm trying to do and continue to embark upon, especially with our platforms like this. So again, man, my hat is off to you, and I just want you to know I'm always going to be there when you call me, and vice versa, like you've been there for me. So man, I'm proud of you, bro. Really proud of you. Let's see. I got some chats over here, man. Draco, he hollered at Rick right quick because he said, Rick, he said, about the dunk that he did on you up at I guess Walnut Hill or something, man. But he laughed about it. And also, man, Big Rod say what's up. It's so cool. See you on the chat, man. Y'all keep chatting out, man. And, let them know that we on, man, with former NBA player Anthony Bonner. If you all are just joining us, that's who we're talking to. We're talking about I Am Student Athlete, as well as the great work that's going on, and not just in our community here in Dallas, but around the country. And definitely we want to individuals that I want to have on this particular show, this particular platform, because it's very much needed to let young people know that, you know, it's not over. No matter what you're doing in life, where you are in life, the degree that you develop to, it's not over. If you want to do something, man, go out and do it. But you say what to the show, AB?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, bro.
Okay, now I was just talking about a collectively, men collectively coming together, men of substance, and being able to help change that narrative, man, back into young people.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things, and you just said it, I think in our communities, we can all drive around places in Dallas, St. Louis, Atlanta, any urban part of the United States, and we can find areas that have been systematically oppressed, and people like to place the term at risk on certain communities. But the fact of the matter is we're all at risk, bro. Every last one of us is at risk. You look at the man who cheats on his wife, he's at risk. You know, the brother who run around sleeping with all the women, he's at risk. The brothers who has a drug addiction or alcohol problem or any type of problem, we're at risk because we're human beings and we have a dark nature. We try and appear to have it all together, but really internally, when we get by ourselves, we all have times when we think about decisions we've made, obligations we've neglected. So everybody really needs what we're talking about when you're talking about being a man of substance, man. That's nothing more than touching your inner core of your eternal self and why you're put here. And you're not put here just amass things and fame and wealth and just to be seen. Because we know that stuff is empty, my man. At the end of the day, you can have the biggest house on the block. You can be a billionaire. That means absolutely nothing if you don't have a purpose. And we just thank God, man, that a lot of our kids who don't have fathers, they need to know that Jesus Christ and God will be a father for them, that he can fill the gap. You know, the gap can be filled because it has been filled. You know, we don't have any reason. We can make up a lot of them, but in reality, we don't have a reason to fail because God didn't create anybody to fail. He might have allowed us to be in some circumstances that look like we're going to fail, and that may be extremely hard to overcome. It may take a lot more and a lot longer, but we have everything we need, my brother, to overcome and win and rise up out of whatever we find ourselves in.
I certainly agree with that analogy that you just stated, and I want to go to something because you mentioned something earlier about really like the moral conduct, and I was talking to well, I sent this out on the rundown for this evening of one former NBA player, Joe Smith. And Daryl, I think I don't know if you saw that or not, right?
I saw it.
Okay, you know, well, for those of you all who may not be aware, former NBA player Joe Smith, his wife, she went out and started a fan-only page. And I'm listening to her talk to this man. As first of all, she got the camera recording him as they're talking, discussing something that's privately within the household. Then, when it was all said and done, one thing she looked up and asked him, it was basically kind of paraphrased, like, okay, it is what it is, what you want to do. Kind of like, and we've had these discussions. Daryl, I'm gonna come to you right quick because I know that we talked about it very briefly. But this mindset of today's woman, and I go back to one of the, you know, when T.D. Jakes, when he did his whole convention, when he talking about woman, thou art loose. Where are we today? And AB, I'll come back to you. But I want to let Daryl chime in on this. You want to share some things, Daryl, regarding this particular subject matter. What is your take, and where are we today when you see this particular attitude that is existing in some women? Let me make that very clear. Not all women, some women.
Man, when I researched the video, I wasn't expecting that. You know, I had heard that he had a fans only page, but her demeanor towards his reaction, you know, really threw me. And I was thinking, I don't know how long you knew this woman, but did you really vet her? Was she someone you met after you had money, or was this had to be someone who he met somewhere after he was an NBA star, because I can't see him knowing her character before he was a star. And this would be the wife he chose, and for her to, knowing he was hurt and embarrassed by her doing that, she chose to record him and be really, really smug about the whole thing. And you could tell he was so embarrassed and hurt by it. And it's like at that point she decided, let me go live while you go through this. So it just made no sense to me. And it kind of made me think, if I've always said, I don't think I could ever be with a woman who I met after I was on a certain level. I mean, I know some guys do, and it works out fine, or if I did, it would have to be that woman humble enough to work at a library, or an orphanage, or someone who takes care of people. So that'll give me a little more idea of what a character's like. But for that woman to do that while he was hurting, and you could tell he was like hurt and embarrassed. For her to, it's like, okay, he's done playing. Now it's time for me to do something to try to get away from him and secure the bag in the process. That's what I'm feeling about.
Yeah. Well, you said you saw it too, AB. What was your take on it? What is your take on it?
Well, it was sad. I mean, when you look at the state of the culture right now, men and women, I think we're falling way short of our ability to function in healthy relationships. There was a question asked maybe about 5 months ago. A friend of mine in St. Louis posted, and it was real simple. He just said, "What is normal right now?" And I didn't answer it because it's a very deep question, even though it's very simple. But in reality, what's normal right now is being dysfunctional in our culture. To be dysfunctional is normal. There's a purpose for relationships, and men and women can redefine them all they want. You can say a woman can be with a woman, a man can be with a man. You can say I can have sex before we're married. You can realign it any way to make sense that you want it to make sense. But the fact of the matter is, relationships are in deep, deep trouble and have been for many, many years, which is why a lot of our children grow up in single-parent homes. A lot of couples divorce after 15, 20 years and give up on each other because of the dysfunction. People don't know their place. They don't accept their roles. And we both have roles. We have roles, and they've been lined out, and they have been defined. And it's just a matter of us as men being the head of the household, being God's first created. We have a very special place in that, and it's a very hard place to really operate in, that we're not really supported in the culture in terms of continuing to grow in it. We grow in it in terms of continuing to try and grow economically to be better providers for our household. But in terms of being better mates for our women, I think we fall short overall across the board in helping them.
I certainly agree. With that. And I just wanted to touch, you mentioned about the culture, because that's another segment that we do here on the replay, the culture. We talk about the culture and what is going on with the culture, so we can define our human excellence. Not to be able to say that everybody agrees on every single thing, but what we can agree on, at least I hope, when we look out in society, we see exactly what is taking place, that we've lost some of the basic and fundamental things that got us to where we are today. And that's really respect and self-respect for one, not only for yourself, but for others. But it has to start with yourself first. And so, they undermine, I think, our community when I think sometimes it's a lot of testing that's going on to see what kind of response that they're gonna get from certain groups of people. And that's just what it is with these things. Like I always say, in order for evil to prevail, nothing. They broadcast certain things, they assert certain things in our society, hoping that we've been so desensitized to where we won't even speak to it anymore. I think Gerald and I was talking about this about a week ago when we was talking about how we as men, we played a big part in it in terms of the overall devaluing of our women. Because we had love songs coming up in the 60s and the 70s, songs that would make just, you know, talked about love, sung about, you know, staying together, you know, that whole romance. Then all of a sudden, you know, I think I always say it was a cameo from what I can remember when they started talking about the single life, started promoting that part of it, the single life, and then came in hip hop, and then the NWAs and so forth and so on. And they wrote about it, talked about what they saw in the culture, but also things that they didn't have knowledge of because they didn't have real knowledge of themselves. And so this is what I think it's been a long period. It's been a long time coming, so to speak. But we're here now, and we have created this monster. But somehow, man, we got to grab the bull by the horn and find a new normalcy, because what we're seeing, what we're projecting to our young people, that's not it. It's certainly not it. So I will continue to do everything that I know God has blessed me to me. But Tim, you got something to say towards that?
Yeah. We can start off first, kind of going back to her. You know, there's a saying that says that once a garden tool will always be a garden tool. So what I'm getting to is that he knew about her because she mentioned that you knew about who I was in the past, and that she went back to what she was in the past. So her growth, she didn't evolve in the relationship. They got married in 2018, just so you guys know more information. Got married in 2018. So this is new. This is after he had his career.
Wow. I didn't know
So yeah, this is his second marriage. And so with that, he's talking about him making a decision. And this is what the young folks got to say. You got to make a decision. Integrity matters. You know, we talk about black people matter, everybody matter. Integrity matters. And when you going in and you look at a person you want to spend your life with, and you got money, right? Because in this day and age, you got to be understanding what your financial situation is. And so now he probably feels like he can't divorce her because he costs him more money. And so he chose that. I don't know what was going on with him during that time. He would choose somebody that he knew that from, but I'm pretty sure that they matched up emotionally some kind of way. So whatever he was going through emotionally, she matched him emotionally, and he felt that bond emotionally with her. But he wasn't dealing with everything that comes with marriage and his decision making. And so these are the things we got to teach our young people, that marriage is more than your emotional tie to an individual. It's more than that. It's actually the financial congruency you have with that person and the risk that you're taking to be with that person. Is that person going to be somebody who enhances you, who actually multiplies you as a young man? That's what you want. A young woman, you want to make sure that man is there and actually lead you. He's going to lead you the correct way in a proper manner that is very respectful, both sides. So disrespect, you saying, so she disrespected him by having that videotape and started talking about the subject with it on video. That's just totally disrespect. You know, another time when somebody kind of like Will Smith is coming in and disrespecting our men in an untold way. I don't know what's going on with these people that think that it's okay to keep disrespecting each other in the light. They bring everything to the light, but it's actually good and healthy if we use this information to correct and become better.
And I agree, Rick. You want to chime in? I don't know if you heard about that, Rick, with Joseph.
I've heard about it, but I hadn't seen the story, so I don't know any background on it. But you know, to piggyback on what Tim said about marriage, man, you know, it's not a contract, man. It's a covenant. So I don't know how they went into marriage. It might have been a contract. So, but I know it's supposed to be a covenant. So I can't really speak on it because I don't know the background of it. But I'm going to check it out. But that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yeah, and that's and I can definitely understand that. But yeah, that was just one of the things I wanted to bring up. We were talking about the culture, and we're just segueing into these particular topics because they're very, very important to have. When I saw that, I was again disrespect, and I have to be able to talk about it because I'll get some women always saying that it seems like we're always saying it's the woman's fault. I said no, not really. That's not what we're saying. I'm a numbers guy, and I'm quite sure you all are number guys too, because I know, as far as the money that we've had to circulate through our own fingers, we had to pay our money. We money people. We're number guys, entrepreneurs. But at the end of the day, we're morally rich more than anything. Not just with currency, morally rich. And when I'm looking at the numbers, I'm simply saying the numbers won't lie. Now, sometimes it's skewed, but I said there's a way to find that out. All you gotta do is let's go in the neighborhood. Let's just knock on the door and see how many women, single women, open up the door. And we'll just do our own statistics. We'll canvas the whole neighborhood. And we'll find out whether or not the numbers are true or not. So 75, 85% of every African American household being headed by a single black woman. I'm saying that's an epidemic. It may not be a pandemic, but it's an epidemic. And it's something that we need to discuss and talk about because this individual, and not even sure that about them being married just recently, like in 2018. Just when you think that you know a person, you really don't. Because it was just the disrespect, kind of like what Daryl was talking about earlier. I mean, it's not that you just got caught and I'm remorseful or I'm sorry. It's fun. Okay. Whatever Bill is trying to do, basically what he's going to do about it. And I felt that was disrespect, totally disrespect, challenging the role that God's placed in me. And I think once they recognize, it can be no matter. I'm not here to relegate my role, like you stated earlier, AB. Relegate my role because you got hurt feelings. I can respect your feelings. I can respect your mind. But if you're asking me to step out of the natural role that God has put me in, then I can't compromise that. I can't compromise that for mother, for grandmother, whoever. I can't compromise it because that's the natural role that God has placed me in. And if I'm the man that God has designed me to be, then I have to substantiate that and be about God's business and apply myself within that rhythm, that spiritual rhythm, to get a better understanding, man. That's non-negotiable. So truth don't care anything about your feelings. Truth is the truth. And the number's not gonna lie. We got shared about this reason. 70% of all women, and almost 40% of African American women are the ones who are leading the way and fighting for divorce. The second group that's behind African American women are the Hispanic community, and they're at 18.2%, with the Europeans at 15%, and the lowest rate are Asian women. So that's a huge gap. That's a huge gap. So we need to do normalcy. We have to have normalcy. We have to change this mindset, this outlook, and it starts at home. As they say, charity starts at home. So I want to just take the time to talk about that. AB, I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, my brother. This has been a wonderful evening of this topic. I mean, if you care to jam with us on this football, because we got to get segue into that real quick. I just want to, like I said, come to this particular platform and discuss these particular topics that's so big, because I know the work that you're doing, and it's very, very much.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a privilege chopping it up with all you brothers, man. Daryl, Tim, and Rick. God bless you, brothers, man. Pleasure meeting you. And I'm sure when I get to Dallas to see my brother Jabril, maybe we'll get a chance to break some bread and do this in person.
Oh, it'll be a pleasure.
To meet you brothers in person. Because my man Jabril microphone over there keep acting real funny tonight.
Yeah,
I know. I've been trying to with my mixer, man. I don't know what the feedback we getting on this thing, but it's been a minute since I've been on it since last month. So maybe it's mad at me or something. You know, if you know, we actually do this show, like I said, we do it. This is the first time doing it live, but we actually do this show where we upload it on YouTube because we take it on Mondays. And so since we came together collectively and said let's do a live show, I said absolutely, because we haven't even talked about the NBA upcoming season as it's just got underway. So I apologize for the little bit of technical difficulty, but hopefully people was able to hear the message and kind of stream their ears out and listen to the content of what we was trying to convey. Better the next time, God willing. We're gonna do this again, man. I'm not, it's been a minute. I had you on before. It wasn't really, we wasn't streaming AB, but
Yeah.
I'm great. Glad that you got on this right here this evening, man. So I mean, but like I said, we're gonna segue into this football real quick because we gotta do this pitch and all that. But my brother, I'm not gonna take I know it's been a long day for Coach Kids. You've been working them out. So I don't have anything else to say, man. Questions to ask. I just want to say thank you for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure, man. And I'm glad to always have this opportunity. And like I said, I'm coming your way soon, brother. We cooked in the pot. God's blessing, once. So maybe I'll probably be meeting you before you get a chance to come here.
All right, my brother. Well, you have a good night, bro. You know I love you, man. Take care of yourself. Keep doing what you're doing.
Good night. Good night, brother.
Good night. Good night, brother.
My brother.
I'll call you later, bro.
All right, bro.
Good night.
Okay, guys. Rick, this is going to conclude the segment of the NBA and the preview that we had on the replay. This is episode 9. We want to talk about that. We won't be able to cover a whole lot because I think I kind of went over the time that we had anticipated. But I want to just get into what happened this past weekend real quick with Colorado and all those games. Daryl, I don't know. Do you have that with you? Because I didn't get a chance to
the rundown.
Get into the picks for next week. But if you don't,
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, good. Well, I just want to speak real quick about. Let's segue over to the high school ranks. Duncanville went into DeSoto this past weekend. Of course, the game was originally scheduled to be played on that Friday. Went in on that Saturday, man. I'm talking about took a drubbing. The DeSoto Eagles, man, defeated the Duncanville Panthers, man, 49-35. And that kid Singleton and that quarterback, man, they have. They just aired it out. It was crazy. And I don't know. I guess I didn't go with DeSoto. I picked them on the chat when I was watching it on the local news. I picked them on the chat, but I didn't pick them on the show, man. But anyway,
well, I picked them on the show, and then somebody gave me some information, so I think you guys all in on it. I think I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. I think I've been led astray because I picked DeSoto. Somebody told me the running back was be out, and the running back plays. So I think I should be getting that win because I said it very clearly. If the running back playing, DeSoto gonna win. So I just don't understand how I could have a loss on that one. I should have DeSoto because I picked DeSoto and then told some erroneous information.
Well, I mean, I'm like Daryl, man. I got to play the violin a little bit on because that running back, wasn't even needed. That other kid, I think his name was Duffy, man. He filled in and did a superb job. So I wish you'd have stuck with your guns. So now you know.
Well, like I told him on the text, he didn't get bad information. He wasn't going to play Friday night. And they moved the game to Saturday, so all bets are off for Saturday. So, I mean, what can we do?
Yeah, I think that information, it was inside information. So he was going to play, just that Duncanville didn't know he was going to play. So they put it out yet. So, because
But
Friday
man,
and
just
Saturday would have made.
did you see the game, TJ?
Huh?
Did you get to see the game?
Yeah, I saw some of it because you sent that information.
Say, man, I saw it from the first kick. DeSoto punched him in the mouth real fast. First play from scrimmage, bomb, touchdown. Next time they touched the ball, ran it back for a touchdown on the kick. And it's like after that, Duncanville just couldn't recover.
I had watched DeSoto a little bit earlier in the season, so I that's why I picked DeSoto, because I felt DeSoto was a better team than Duncanville. So it wasn't a question to me. That's why I did it so fast. I said, I got DeSoto. I didn't care what you guys were picking. So that's why I felt that
But
way.
I saw Duncanville. I saw Duncanville, to be honest. I did see Duncanville as the better team. I think if they played again for the championship, I think Duncanville would come out like, hey, man, let's not take these boys for granted. But I just watching them both, I still do think Duncanville has a better team.
Well, that's going to be interesting because there's a possibility. You never know.
Yeah, we got to remember that they start wide receiver, the Corey Moore, didn't play into the second half. Now, some people say, well, but when you start a game off, a lot of times, man, that inspiration, you need all hands on deck. So not to be able to get into a rhythm, I think that kind of cost Duncanville too. Rather not if they, the next day, because those games originally supposed to be played that Friday. So who knows? But DeSoto, I'm not making no excuses. DeSoto had to go.
They played.
They start running back out who didn't play, period. The only thing they had was, them having home field advantage that day. So, if they were to meet again, I think you'd probably be right there. I think Duncanville could have played a lot better. But they secondary got tested. And I tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather know now than to wait another week or two later to find out and realize that, say, man, we're not as good as we thought we was on the back end of the defense. Because if they start airing that thing out, we might have some liabilities back there. So, hopefully it's a silver lining in it. They'll watch the film, get things corrected, and they'll put the wheels back on and get, go into the playoffs and go back and maybe we had the same thing that was happened last year when all those, schools repeated and won state championships and bring it all the way back to Dallas again. But let's talk about some of the upsets, man, that we had. I don't know. I know some college upsets. Well, yeah, my Oklahoma Sooners went down to Kansas, which was real. I tell you, man. But that was an upset, and then we saw how CU played, and once again, Colorado, man. I'm just sitting there saying, it ain't so much the players, but it's the scheme. It is the scheme, man. And yeah, you don't have the players. Don't get me wrong. The offensive line that Colorado has. Yeah, Dion gonna definitely have to get that changed, man, because this kid is taking. I think in that one game he had like 22 pressures, something like he took. Several different hits, like 17 just hits after he threw the ball. So he's taking a pound. And Shedeur Sanders I'm speaking about. I don't know if many quarterbacks could have taken that type of abuse, man, and still try to hang in the pocket.
Yeah,
and throw the ball the way he does.
Yeah, it's that. I still think. I know Tim, I don't think he agreed with me, but I think those guys are regressing. I don't think they're getting better, even though they weren't the players that you wanted. I still think it should be way more improvement that they're showing. I just don't think they're getting any better. They're actually probably getting worse.
Well, you're thinking about the whole team, but what I want to say in reference to that is that I don't disagree with you. But I'm talking about the offensive line. People kind of know, Nebraska had 8 or 11 sacks. They was leading the whole college football after playing Colorado in sacks and so in pressures. So that tells you about the offensive line. Offensive line is one of the hardest positions for a team to actually reestablish after they down. So you got a team that actually just hadn't been doing something real well, hadn't been recruiting real well for a long time. It takes them a while to get a good offensive line. So even next year, they're going to have a problem with offensive line unless he get a bunch of JUCO players. Because he going to have to get some JUCO linemen actually to fortify that line if he want to get something, if he want to do something immediately, right? And that's the one thing I knew UCLA was going to be all right, too, against Colorado as well. So anybody who actually has a pretty good team that plays really well and can rush the passer, they're going to have a little, Colorado going to have a little time with them. They're going to have to win on their skill position. So which is what they've been doing, and actually being able to control some clock with the offensive by throwing those short passes. But people know what they're going to do now. And so they playing them to that. They've seen it. They've seen the scheme now. They know what's up. So it's harder for Colorado to kind of get over that hump just with skill if those interior linemen don't play well on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that has to do, too, man, when you don't have a run game, when your run game you can't go play action or anything, man, because they oppose no threat. So it's one of those deals where I hope that if he can find a way to squeak out maybe 2 more games, and really, boy, if he finds a bit
tough.
Another 3, but if he can find a way to squeak out another 2 games, I think that's a starting point. I think that's a really great starting point geared towards next year. He can build on that. Like you said, and get, like you just stated, getting some of those JUCO players to come in, maybe some kids jump in the transfer portal who already started other stuff like that, because the turnaround can be real
quick with that.
Yeah, real quick. So now let's segue, guys, because we come from the last 15 minutes of this particular episode. I want to segue to the NFL now, because I couldn't wait to get to the NFL, because I need to know. I just need to know from my 49ers brothers. Since 3 weeks ago, you all have played the Dallas Cowboys. I need to know what is going on in San Francisco at Levi Stadium. I need to know, man. Talk to me. I mean,
what is like this, man? I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you like this. I ain't married to no team, and I tell it like it is. The moment that 2 things that happened let me know we were about to go on a losing streak.
Uh-oh.
When that dude raised that shirt up and had F Dallas on there,
okay,
karma was coming immediately. That was low class. It was, and I said it when I saw it. I'm like, man, that's low class. I don't appreciate that. And then the fights. All of a sudden, we tough guys. We got to fight before this game. Right. And then against Cleveland, we're fighting. Then before you know it, the guys that are out there fighting, Debo, the big lineman, both of them hurt, and you ain't heard from them since. That's all karma. Like you need to get beat. Once that field goal kicker missed that kick, I was like, it's all about to come full circle. Y'all about to be humbled because you were way too arrogant after beating the Cowboys. You should have went right back to work and say, hey, let's go out here and let's focus on football, not the annex before the game, not the F Dallas t-shirt. That's where a lot of these teams go bad, man. You got to stay focused week to week, because anybody can beat you in the NFL.
Any week. It's called any given Sunday. And I always said, one game is not a championship make. One game is not a championship make. It's such a long season. And that's what people assume. Because they say they always remember the teams who finish first in December. That's a saying. And anybody can get hot and go on a roll and get into the playoff. So you ain't going to win a Super Bowl in September or in October. You got to keep grinding this thing out week to week to week to week, because we've seen, man, San Francisco get knocked off. Jacksonville go in. I'm not saying this was an upset or anything like that, but I'm just saying in terms of how the Steelers was playing a few weeks, go in and knock off the Steelers. And so we've seen these teams, man, who we thought, look at what happened to Kansas City, right? Denver knocks off Kansas City. So, one game is not a championship make. I just hope that the Dallas Cowboys, continue to just grind week in and week out, kind of find their niche. It seemed like yesterday's win over the Los Angeles Rams, I haven't seen them play like a complete game like that in a very long time, where it was hitting on all cylinders.
Before you get too deep in that, let me say this about San Francisco real quick. The reason why Brock Purdy was doing so well is, one, because the offensive line was playing so well, and 2 is because of those skill positions. I told you that San Francisco had a whole group of them, right? Now that your boy is out, Debo is out, then you're talking about that being a done deal. You're talking about with him being out, now he don't have all the skill position that he needs to excel beyond anybody else, because all he had to do was get the ball in their hands as quick as possible, and they made plays. Now, that's not going on for him. So he's having a little tougher time, because he has touch. He can't get that ball in there when he needs to squeeze it in there. If he do, he's taking risks. When he take risks, that's when he gets turnovers. So that's the problem with him as a quarterback, because he don't have the skill to be threading that needle on tough plays and tough situations. He got to have those wide open receivers. Debo was getting open wide. So there was easy plays that they was making with him. So they still got enough skill position in him to do all right, but he has to think a little different. He ain't got as many, though. So they kind of bring him back down to earth, plus the things you said before about them as well, too. And then I'll let you start going to Cowboys, and I'll come in on that next. I'm ready.
You know, I mean, and I'm glad Daryl has not done this, and I'm glad that he has not done this because you know, most people would make those excuses. He haven't given us no excuses, because I was waiting to really hear people say. Now, you know how people say, well, you know, Debo is out. You know what I mean? You haven't said it, but you'll hear people say that, right? But it's like they changed the Cowboys so hard, because you got to remember, we lost, our offensive linemen weren't even there against the Cardinals, you know? Right. So, and I don't think when they played the 49ers got up for them, but they didn't get up for the 49ers. The intensity level wasn't, that they didn't match their energy. In this game, football is about matching that energy for 4 full quarters. You got this, from start to finish. Because, you know, what's the saying? When you go on the road, you already know that you're 7 down. You already know these things. So with that being said, I'm like, why would you not go into that stadium when you're on the road, any one stadium, without having this type of mindset? We're already 7 down. The score is not 0-0. And you can't have that in your mind. So for you not to have that excuse, I can appreciate that, because, you know, I'm all about, you know, next man up. You know, and let me just give a quick kudos and a shout out. I'm gonna have 2 shout outs. I get mine early right now, but shout out to my man Deron Bland, because I knew, and you all heard me say that we wind some of the shows several weeks back when Diggs went down. I said the thing I like about Bland is he's gonna play the entire system, the call. He's not as much of a risk taker than Diggs. With Diggs, yeah, you get big plays, but he give up big plays. Bland, he's gonna play the coverage. He's gonna play sound. He has the lowest pass and defense rate out of any defensive back in the league right now. And I knew that about that kid. So kudos to Deron Bland, man. He's playing lights out. Proud of the young kid, man, and keep balling, keep doing what you do. Because I think Dallas right now, I don't want to hit the stride too early. We're just going into November, but if we can, let's see how we do against the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. And, you know, if we can kind of hit that stride, man, and who knows, I know the trade deadline is when Tuesday. You know, I'm all in for Derrick Henry. I think that's the one glaring spot where I feel like 3.8 yards of average is not going to get it done. We gotta shore that up. But if we can do that right there, I think Dallas is going to be fine, man. We're going to be sitting real pretty. I really believe that.
I don't.
That's okay. I know you don't. I know you don't. You feel like I get it. I feel like you're gonna bounce.
I just had to throw that. I don't.
Well, you know, that was a very good game by Dallas.
We need to get. You got the picks, right? You got the picks. Okay, let's get to the picks then. You got it. I'm turning it over to you. I'm gonna give you the honors.
Bucks at the Texans.
Oh, by the way, before we make these picks, I think I'll definitely beat Booker this week, because he's not here and we're not giving no consolation. So he got the forfeit every day.
And before you go into that, we're talking about who's in the lead, who lead dog. Lead dog is right here, just so you guys will know. That's the lane.
You're probably right about that, but go ahead. You say the Bucks.
No, I am right.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Bucks Texans.
Yeah. I think man, Texans lost. What are they playing at?
At Texans. At Houston.
Yeah, I think they lost one, man. They had no business to lose. So I'm gonna take the Texans. I'm gonna take the Texans.
T.
Well, you got DA. I got Bucks coming into Texans. I got the Bucks.
Man, I'm gonna give. I picked against that boy the last time they played at home, and I said next time they play a mediocre team, I'm going with Texans, so I'm going with Texans.
All right, there we go.
Next one up, Commanders go to New England.
Oh, you pulled that one out the hat?
Man, I'm making sure we don't all agree on these picks. I like them
You
looks.
know,
So you go
I don't
first.
trust. I'm gonna go New England, man. I'm going New England.
Okay, DA, you this time.
Man, I think Washington is better than people think, and I don't trust New England. I go with the Commanders.
You gonna go with the Commanders?
And I'm going with New England.
Oh man, I guess two of them about to get on them right there.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I'm talking about. Ain't nobody agreeing. Ain't no everybody gonna agree on none of these picks.
Mm-mm.
Cowboys, Eagles.
Cowboys, Eagles. Wow. Oh man. I'm going. Excuse me.
Hey, Tim, he spoke what was back here, buddy. That came from back here.
I'm going Cowboys, man. I'm going Cowboys.
Was that a Freudian slip? Does that say?
Oh, it came from the back.
I'm telling you something, man. I was really thinking about going Eagles, man. Even though it's the Rams, but you know, I'm gonna go Cowboys, man, by 3. Yeah, because Dak Prescott he's 8-3 against the Eagles, man. People don't realize that, and really should be 9-2. That last game they played when Romo came in his rookie year, because he owns the Eagles, man. So, you know, we'll see. I'm gonna go Cowboys, man. Yeah, already shaking his head. So I already know what it is. So
yeah, check this out. You know, kind of going into that, Dallas offensive line was getting railed on for sacks in that game, right? And then Eagles have a very good defensive line, but it's really more up the middle, which is one of the problems that Dak has when he gets pressure up the middle a lot of times, right? And so you would think this is a great opportunity, them being at home and the Eagles coming off, you know, having a rough time, but they fought through and won. But you know what? I don't think Eagles have hit their stride, so I'm picking the Cowboys.
Just exactly the way I thought it. Eagles. Let's go next pick. Eagles. Easy win. Eagles.
All right, good.
Last one. The Bills go to Cincinnati.
Bills in Cincinnati. Oh wow, man! They just can they do it back-to-back weeks? Can they do it back-to-back weeks? Wow, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
All of them were pretty tough. I'm telling you, man.
You know what? I don't know. I'm gonna go Bills on this one. I just don't know, man. To get up 2 weeks in a row in the NFL, I'm gonna go Bills on this one.
You ready for me, TJ?
Yep, you go ahead.
Man, I really think the Bengals are hitting their stride a little bit, and Buffalo is so up and down. I'm gonna lean toward Bengals this week.
That's a tough pick, but they are at home. So if anything, that's a good pick, especially how Bengals have been playing. They kind of seem like they're getting their stuff back together. Like
I might change my pick if you go with Bengals.
I'm going with Buffalo.
Oh, I
think Buffalo get back on a game.
So, I need to hit them good one weekend so I can just be way out in front.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Well, you behind. You about to get way behind after this.
No, I don't know that. He ain't got the records right now, so I don't know where we are.
Yeah, we got the records. It's the proof in the pudding. It's on the show. No problem.
I tell y'all what. I mean, we'll just because you only got the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll do in the middle of the week. We'll have our college picks. I'll get those together because we didn't have much time today to do it. So we'll get that, and we'll go over that on the taping of the show. Well, we got one last thing coming up. And this is the shout outs, man. Shout outs. So I'm gonna start first. I'm gonna beat Tim to it because I already got my hat on, man. I don't even know what the score is right now. But you know, I'm shouting out my Texas Rangers, man.
3-1.
I mean, we
3-1.
Lead off home run when they won game 1.
3-1, bottom of the 8.
What's the score now?
3-1, bottom of the 8. Rangers up.
Rangers. Oh, yeah. Big shout out. Big shout. I already shout out my man Deron Bland, Dallas Cowboys, man. And I got to shout out the DeSoto Eagles, man. Way to step up and handle your business in your own backyard. You know, it was a heck of a game and definitely a tremendous win for that program. And so that's gonna be my shout outs for the week.
Yeah, my shout out is to my alumni, Nebraska. They won 3 games in a row, I believe, and we're going 5-1 since the beginning of the season. So they kind of putting something together. They kind of putting down kind of who they are a little bit and progress. And so they got some time too. They got to keep building up what they're doing too, for as offensive line wise as well. They got the same problem that Colorado having for is building up the offensive line. That integrity. It takes a little while that interior, I should say. It takes a little while to build up that interior. My other shout outs to my daughter and my son. They was in a fashion show yesterday, and they walked both by themselves. My son led one of them off. I'm like, so I'm like, whoa, look at that. So that was his first time doing that. So that's truly a blessing, and a blessing to see the growth. And there was many other people that was, showing growth and maturity and actually dealing with pain and overcoming that as well too on the show. Pretty special moment. So grateful.
That's great. Who you shouting out, DA?
I want to shout out Cleveland Browns, Minnesota Vikings, and the Cincinnati Bengals for putting their foot dead in our butt so we can wake up and regain our focus and go to the Super Bowl. So I appreciate this 3-game losing streak. So it can wake us up like we ain't nobody no more. Let's go play.
Because I ain't gonna appreciate us losing no 3.
Man, I'm glad. we
built different, right? We built different.
Yeah.
Rangers are leading 3-1 going into the ninth, the top of the ninth. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I tell you what, we gonna shout out to our producer Jerome Sheffield, man. He had to take a week off, had some stuff he had to do, and to Booker, he'll be back next week. He had some family gathering things he had to get done also. But we want to thank, our special guest that came on this evening.
Yeah.
NBA player Anthony Barnes.
Oh man, he was awesome, man.
Yeah, definitely.
He was
awesome. Rick had to leave also, but big shout out to Rick as well, man. But this will conclude another episode on the Replay Sports and Culture Show. Join us each week when we upload between Tuesday and Wednesdays. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And, the weather's changing. It's getting a little cold outside. So make sure you all bundle up. Make sure you take care of your health this season, this winter season. But more than anything, always keep God first. Thank you all for joining us on another episode. We'll be back, God willing, next week. So stay tuned for either greater content and other individuals joining us on the show. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you, my brother, Daryl Alexander, Tim Jackson. Appreciate y'all, man. One love.
Same to you, Jabril.